Yo, what's going on, gardeners? I gotta tell you, September is winding down here on the southeastern coast of North Carolina, and I don't feel like doing squat this time of year, and I bet many of you don't as well. But that doesn't mean that we still can't have a great garden all of fall and deep into the winter. On today's video, I'm going to show you 10 different veggies that lazy gardeners can grow with little to no effort all fall and winter long. When I feel like it.
If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and check out my Amazon store and Spreadshop links in the video description for everything I use in my garden and awesome custom apparel and gear.
Now, if you've never watched one of my videos before, I live on the southeastern coast of North Carolina, Zone 8B. So my winters are mild enough that I can grow things out in my garden all year long. However, you don't need to be in a mild climate zone to grow any of these things. Half of the things that I'm mentioning in this video, they will grow all winter long no matter where you live. If you live in Zone 7 or warmer, you will be able to grow all of these things out in your garden. And if you add a little hoop house or something like that for protection, Zone 5 or 6, all of these things become growable all winter long. That being said, no matter where you live, at the very least, all of these things will last deep into the winter, at least until Christmas, regardless of your zone and how much you protect them. Crop number one is the do-nothing lazy gardener's dream, and that is garlic. There is probably no annual that you can grow out in your vegetable garden that is less work than garlic. All you do is you buy heads of garlic, you plant the cloves in fall, they accumulate chill in ground throughout the winter, and then they sprout, and then you will be able to harvest your garlic in late spring, early summer, depending on where you live. They sit pretty much dormant underground, and you really don't have to do anything with them all throughout the winter. There are two different types of garlic, soft neck garlic and hard neck garlic. Soft neck garlic is hardy from zones 5 through 10, and they generally do better in places that have short winters and very long summers. They will form nice big bulbs without a significant amount of chill hours. However, hard neck garlic, which is what you see right here, this stuff is basically bulletproof. You can grow this down to tundra. So if you live in an absurdly cold place, you could plant this stuff in North Alaska and it will still grow. Most will tell you that hardneck garlic grows in hardiness zones 3 through 8, but the truth is the most cold hardy varieties can take colder temperatures than that. Here where I live in zone 8, I can grow hardneck or softneck varieties. I still get pretty good bulbing with hardneck varieties, as you can see right there. That is pretty respectable, nice big cloves, and hardneck varieties generally have a stronger flavor. Most of what you buy in a grocery store will be the softneck varieties because they store longer. But regardless of the type of garlic that you want to plant, it is a walk in the park. It is truly a plant it, set it, and forget it kind of crop. The only thing that is really a barrier of entry to your initial garlic planting will be purchasing garlic if you want to buy a higher end variety of garlic. It can often be a $25 to $30 investment to get yourself some garlic, but after that, it's a piece of cake because all you do is you harvest the garlic in the late spring or early summer, and then you save the biggest heads for replanting in the fall because garlic will store for many months in a basement or a garage. This is Musa garlic that I harvested back in June. I saved some of my large heads for planting in the fall, and I still have way more than this in my shed, and I use garlic pretty much every single day. So if you like the variety that you buy, after that initial investment, you can just save the biggest heads and then keep planting them year after year. Or if you don't want to make an investment in garlic and you don't care what you grow, you can just go to the grocery store and plant any of the garlic that you find on the shelf. If you think getting off the couch and walking all the way to the refrigerator to get a beer is a lot of work, I have great news. It is even easier to grow carrots, and that is why I have these ranked as number 2 on my list. No fall and winter garden is complete without carrots, and that is because the cooler the weather gets, the sweeter your carrots get. That's because the starch and sugar productions are proportional to the amount of heat in the air. So carrots grown when it's very hot out tend to be starchy, but when it is nice and cool, you get nice, delicious, sugary carrots. And the other awesome thing about carrots is not only will they taste better being grown this time of year, but they're basically the most cold hardy thing I grow in my garden, aside from garlic. Carrots can tolerate about 0 degrees Fahrenheit when they're mature, and if you cover them with a row cover, they can take even colder temperatures. Growing carrots couldn't be any easier. Just dig a trench about 1/4 of an inch deep, sprinkle your seeds, cover them with soil, and then water them in. Keep the area moist, and in about 2 weeks you will be seeing exactly what you're seeing here. Lots and lots of germinating carrots. Then, after about another 2 weeks, I will thin them so there is about a 2-inch spacing between plants to give them room to bulb properly. And then after that, you don't really have to do much else when it comes to growing carrots. That is why carrots are a lazy gardener's dream. Have you ever left a public bathroom without washing your hands because you just didn't have the time? Well, boy, do I have the veggie for you. Crop number 3 is radishes, because radishes don't waste any time either. Radishes are one of the fastest maturing crops that you can plant. Many varieties are ready for harvest only 3 to 4 weeks after germination. This variety is ready 25 days after germination, and it is far from the earliest variety out there. Planting radishes couldn't be any easier. Just plant the seeds 1/2 inch deep. They will germinate in about 3 days, and then depending on the varieties that you'll grow, they will be ready for harvest in about 3 to 5 weeks. And the thing about radishes is, while they are cold hardy to about the 20 to 25 degree range, it's really the soil freezing that gives you trouble. So as long as you prevent the soil from freezing, your radishes will be okay. If the soil freezes too hard, the radishes can split. So if you're not going to add a little bit of protection to prevent your soil from getting that cold, you may reach a point in the winter where it becomes so cold and the ground gets so hard that growing radishes is not possible, but you can still grow them in containers, even on a windowsill. And the other nice thing about radishes is, because they are ready so quickly, as long as you get a warm-up period, a mild period in your winter of a few weeks, they become growable. And if you think, oh, radishes, that's so boring, well, there are tons of different types of radishes. So you don't just have to get the English or French radishes, there are lots of fancy varieties out there as well. Have you ever skipped a shower for the day because you thought to yourself, I'm just going to get dirty tomorrow anyway? Well, you are going to love crop number 4, which is collard greens, the laziest of all greens. Why are collard greens so lazy? Well, they are the most cold hardy of all of the brassicas. They can survive down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, even colder than that if you cover them. And they also get sweeter as the temperature drops, so they taste better after a frost and freeze. Collard greens grow best from transplant, but you can also direct seed them as well. I transplanted my collards into this very raised bed right here underneath this little hoop structure where from January on I placed an agricultural fabric over it to keep them warm, but truth be told, I don't think I even needed to do that in Zone 8. And I have little doubt that if you live in Zone 6 or 7, you can grow these all throughout the winter with a little cheap cover like this. If you want to build a hoop house like this, you can build this in only about 30 minutes using 1/2-inch electrical conduit from Lowe's or Home Depot from the electrical aisle. I will link to a video above that will show you exactly how to do that. But if you don't feel like doing that, I understand. You can just pull a cover over them. It won't work as well as this hoop structure, but maybe you just don't have time for this. Have you ever eaten your dinner out of a frying pan or a sauce pot because you didn't feel like washing a dish? Well, crop number 5 is for you, and that is kale. Next to collard greens, kale is the easiest of the brassicas to grow, and where I live, I grow kale all year long. Now, growing kale isn't easy every single month of the year. In fact, at the end of summer, growing kale can be very difficult because of whitefly and because of various worms and caterpillars. And this is what my kale looks like now because it's gotten so beaten up. However, in another 6 to 8 weeks, these pests aren't going to be around anymore. So the secret for lazy gardeners to grow do-nothing kale is to start them as transplants indoors right now, and then they will be ready in about 6 to 7 weeks, and then you can plant them outside when all of those moths and worms and caterpillars and other bad things are long gone. So just because you may have some trouble growing kale in late summer or early fall, that doesn't mean that it will be the case all year. It's about to start getting real easy, and it stays real easy throughout the winter. Crops 6 and 7 make me very happy because I get to lump them together, and that means one less edit and one less timestamp I have to make for this video, and that is leeks and bunching onions. Leeks and bunching onions are one of those things that not a lot of gardeners grow because I think a lot of people don't know how to use them or cook with them. And that's a real shame because they are two of the easiest things that you can ever grow in your garden. Now, these are all part of the allium family, same as onions, garlics, and shallots, but we use leeks and bunching onions a little bit differently. They do not bulb, and because they do not bulb, they are not sensitive to daylight. You can grow them 365 days a year. And while it is true that some varieties of leeks and bunching onions are more heat tolerant and cold tolerant than others, because they are not dependent on the day length and they do not form bulbs, and we eat them for the greenery, they are extremely versatile, and it doesn't really matter when you plant them, as long as you are planting the right varieties, either in the summer or the winter. Now, bunching onions are harvested either as green onions or spring onions. If you've ever bought green onions or spring onions at a grocery store, that's what you're getting. You are just buying the greenery of the bunching onions. They don't bulb, so you'll just take a pair of scissors and you will cut the onion greens off and you will eat them. You will give the onions more fertilizer and then they will just grow new tops again, and you will repeat the process indefinitely. Leeks are similar to a bunching onion, except they are a lot larger, and you will pull the entire leek, and all of it is edible except for the stubby root part at the bottom. So when you pull this out, you'll basically cut off the bottom inch or two where the roots are coming out, and then you will eat this piece right here. This is going to turn white, and it's going to be the best part of the leek. You can eat the leek greens if you want, as a stir-fried item, but generally speaking, this thick neck right here is going to be the best part, and you're going to finely chop that, and it is excellent in soups and stews, and as a base to pretty much anything all-purpose cooking. It is like a very, very mild onion, so anything that you can use a white onion in, your leeks are going to be excellent. Have you ever eaten a tube of raw cookie dough because you didn't feel like getting out a pan or turning on your oven? Well, my friend, you are going to love crops 8 and 9, and they are cilantro and parsley. So, out of all of the cold hardy herbs, why did I single out parsley and cilantro as the easiest to grow? Well, for one, these are actually very difficult, if not impossible, to grow in the dead of summer because they are very prone to bolting, especially cilantro. Cilantro may be the most bolt-prone thing that I grow in my garden. So for those reasons, I look forward to this time of year because of how well they grow when it finally cools down and I can get back into fresh parsley and cilantro season. And the reason why lazy gardeners will love these so much is because of how cold tolerant they are. Parsley is hardy to at least 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Cilantro is hardy to at least 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So you don't really have to do anything for them when the cold weather comes other than pull a sheet over them if it's going to get colder than, say, 0 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. These are also two herbs that no matter what I'm cooking, at least one of them probably goes well with dinner that night. So for that reason, I find them an essential add to my garden every fall and winter into early spring. And are you so lazy that you couldn't even make it all the way through this video? Well, joke's on you, because you're not going to find out what crop number 10 is. It's mustard greens. Unfortunately, in late summer, it does become difficult to grow mustard greens because they are highly prone to bolting and they are very susceptible to insect damage from worms and caterpillars. But growing them in the wintertime becomes literally a walk in the park. And for the sticklers of the English language amongst us, yes, I do in fact occasionally take my mustard greens to the park with me. In my opinion, the best way for most people to grow mustard greens will be to start them from transplant indoors, and then after they are about 4 to 6 weeks old and it is sufficiently cooled off outside and all of the moths and caterpillars and worms are gone, transplant them out into your garden. These are exceptionally cold hardy. I find them to be cold hardy to about 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. I've gotten down to 14 degrees and uncovered they didn't even take any damage. So if you place a cover over them, I really think these can survive somewhere down to the 0 to 10 degree Fahrenheit range. And that is going to take the overwhelming majority of people deep into the winter, possibly throughout the entire winter, making these one of these things that you may be able to grow out in your garden from October all the way until May or June of the next year. And that right there are 10 of the most do-nothing crops that even the laziest gardeners amongst us can grow out in their garden all fall and into the winter, maybe even throughout the entire winter and into the spring. So everybody, I sure hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and please ring that notification bell so you can be notified when I release more videos like these. If you're curious about any of the seeds that I featured in this video and you want to grow a lot of the varieties that I'm growing, growing. I will place direct links to many of those varieties down in the video description for your convenience, and also to make things easy and lazy. For everything I use in real life in my garden, I have them all linked in my Amazon storefront in the video description. So expand the video description, click on the Amazon storefront link, you'll see everything I use in real life. And while you're down there, if you want to support the channel, please check out my spread shop for custom merch. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video. Oh boy, Dale, we survived the thunderstorm in Florida. It's time for you to get a pup cup. You want a little taste?
You want a taste?
Come on, I know it's still thundering. Oh, buddy. Is the thunder that scary that you don't even have? Oh, nope.
No.
He figured it out. Nope, the thunder doesn't exist anymore. Don't forget your little treat there, buddy. Don't forget your little milk bone.
Here, put it down so you can enjoy it. There.
There you go, Dale. At your leisure, when you feel a little bit better from the thunders. It's all right, buddy. It'll end soon. It'll end soon. Apparently, Dale's mom found the proper technique and just the right level for Dale to enjoy his ice cream during a thunderstorm.
Oh, is that good?
I think it's good. I think he likes it.
Oh, he does.